I spent 6 hours working on my car yesterday. If you'd like to find out what I had to do to it, then do please stay tuned. So this was my first time working on a crankshaft sensor. I've done a camshaft sensor a bunch of times. Oh, my finger is hurting. I just hit it. I heard it yesterday. I lifted the nail up off the bed. Um, it hurt. Um, anyway, I've done a camshaft sensor. It's flat, it has a plug at the back, and it's at the top of the motor. Two bolts hold it. Bada bing, you're done. Crankshaft sensor is another story. It's a cylinder. It's a cylinder about that long, closed in, solid, that attaches to a plug with a bolt off to the side, a bolt hole off to the side. I wished I had the old one. I would show it to you. But in total, it's about that long with the plug and everything. To get to the camshaft, the crank shaft sensor, I had to, first off, remove my housing that goes over my air filter. I had to remove my air filter box. I have a box that looks like a battery, and it has an air filter inside of it. I had to remove the tray underneath the battery that it sits on. 5 bolts holds it. I then had to remove my front grill. I had to remove the piece of metal that goes across the top of the radiator on the frame of the front of the car. I had to remove the cooling fan. When I got all of that out of there, I could almost see the sensor, but the starter was in the way. So I had to remove the starter, which wasn't difficult because I just did my starter about 6 months ago. I came inside, watched that quick tutorial that I had watched to do my starter 6 months ago, refreshed my memory on what I needed to do, and I went back out there and took my starter off. And voila, right in front of me, visible and easy to get to, was that crankshaft sensor. And it goes, the cylinder goes inside of the motor. And then when you bolt it down very snug, it seals that hole off. And whenever your crankshaft sensor is bad on your car, it stalls. It goes dead constantly. It spits and sputters and jerks down the road. It seems like something horrible is wrong with it, like it's going to blow up or something. But it's just a sensor. And these new cars, mine's a 2004, so it's not that new. I'm talking about I don't know, maybe even earlier than 2000 and up. The cars and trucks and vans and things are full of sensors, which is good because it lets you know when something goes wrong. It'll throw a code to your fuse box. Then you just have to go by the auto parts and get them to hook up their computer, and it'll pick up the code and tell you what is the matter with your vehicle. But when these sensors go bad, they are in weird locations, snugly fitted into the different areas, to where most of the time you have to take a lot off to get to them. They're very aggravating. But I had changed my camshaft sensor twice, misunderstanding what they were telling me. They were telling me my crankshaft sensor was bad. So I changed my camshaft sensor twice. I put one on, it still did the same thing, so I took it off, went back, told them it was a bad part, got another one and put it on. And then the car kept doing the same thing. So I was like, there's got to be something that this car is trying to tell me. So I took it by the auto parts one more time. And I was like, let me ask you something. Are you telling me it's the camshaft sensor or the crankshaft sensor? And he was like, ma'am, it's the crankshaft sensor. I was like, oh my God. I felt like an airhead from hell. because I had been working on my car all that time and I was changing the wrong part, and that's out of character for me. But it happens. I mean, mistakes get made no matter what you're doing. So my car is fixed. The check engine light is off and it is running fine. It's running great again. My PT Cruiser is a non-turbo, but that little car will fly. It's like driving a go-kart because when you're behind the wheel, you don't see the front of the car at all. Period. All you see is the road. And it reminds me of driving a little go-kart. It's fun to drive. It's a dependable vehicle as long as everything is working correctly on it. I have had to work on this car a lot, but the car is worn out. And I'm going to get a little bit of money from my dad's estate, and I'm going to use it for a down payment on another vehicle because I'm just tired of working on this one. I love the car, but and it's probably going to be fine. I mean, it's got a new camshaft sensor, a new crankshaft sensor, has a new battery. It has a, I took the starter off and had it checked. They checked the alternator the other day and the battery. My electrical system is working and functioning fine, except for that one sensor that I fixed. It has a new air conditioning sensor system in it that's only 2 years old. It has new tires on it that I just put on it about 6 months ago. You know, the only thing I can imagine going wrong with it being so old, is the fuel filter probably needs to be changed and the air filter as well. So hopefully it'll do me good for a little while. Everybody be safe, be kind to one another, and I will. My phone just turned on, just out of the blue. I will see you soon in another video. Bye-bye. Happy Sunday. Have a great day today.